What's going on, family? Welcome back. I pray all is well to another Real Talk video as we give the Most High all the honor, glory, and definitely all the praise and worship. What's my take on Antonio Brown, professional football player that left the Buccaneers? The biggest talk right now. Everybody saw how he took his jersey off, shirt off, and just marched off the field. Y'all had a great question about him to me about, do I believe he's dealing with mental illness? And that's a very, very great question. And mental illness is in a lot of people. Now, I grew up with a lot of people like this, especially like in school. Very talented people, very talented. May not act like the other students, but I'm going to say this. A lot of times, some people just want a whole lot of attention. They got to keep doing stuff just to be seen. I'm not talking about everybody. Then there's those that's really dealing with this mental illness, or they may use the term bipolar, schizophrenia. And most of the people that I grew up with that's like this, I'm close with a homeboy like this, come from a broken home, no father around. Some of them shipped around, going through the orphanage center, being shipped here, being shipped there. I'm dealing with a young man I've been talking to for probably about 7 years now that I minister to, who never met his father. His mom gave him up. She was on drugs and stuff, and it takes a lot out of him. And he's always, like he tell me, I got a problem with rules, I got a problem with order. But when you talk to him one-on-one and just listen at him and hear him out, he's very intelligent. And the biggest problem with a lot of people that's dealing with this mental illness, if that's what you want to call it, is that they never really been taught what's going on with them. Now, you just got to realize what we have done in this world a lot of times is just let the doctor diagnose us with whatever. Hey, this is what's wrong with him. He's bipolar, he's schizophrenic, give him these pills, and people wonder why the pills never work. It's a form of control, but it won't cure it. It may calm them down, but it won't cure it. Why? Because like I've been saying for the last 15 years on here, can't no pill, can't no shot stop a demonic attack. Only the Holy Spirit can kill these demonic spirits, torment them, make them leave, point blank. But in Antonio Brown's case, and I'm just gonna say this, he could be dealing with that. I'm not knocking that. But what I see a lot of times too is that he just want to be seen. He want attention. He want to be heard. If you notice everything that he do, he always do it so the public can see it. Now, that's what I see going on a lot with him. Is like a lot of other people I know. And to do that, let me put it to you like this. As I said in the other video the other day, some people are really dealing with this stuff, and it's taking a lot of them. Then some of them they really just, once again, I don't know no other way to put it. They just want to be seen. They want to be heard. They want to hear they want their cry out to be heard, and they encourage other people to be like them, And when you making a certain amount of money, just be real. There's a lot of people that went to high school, didn't get no degree, and some of them did, but a lot of them didn't get no degree. And they making more money than they ever seen in their life and in their parents' life. And in our race of people, a lot of times, nobody really teaches you what to do with that money when you get it. That's why the first thing a lot of us do when we get our hands on some money, we just blow it. I'm not saying all. But when you ain't been taught how to manage, how to be a good steward, ask Mike Tyson that. Ask MC Hammer that. Ask a lot of them that got that money and they went crazy with it. And now talk to them now as they done got older. They will tell you nobody really taught them how to handle all that kind of money, So is it really mental illness that he's dealing with? I don't know. I'm not going to speak it on him, because it's hard I love the questions, but I always say it like this. It's hard for me to answer those type of questions on somebody I really barely know. Now, if you talking about somebody I grew with, I'll tell you in a minute, boy, that boy ain't crazy. Boy got a good head on his shoulder. He just, he want to be like that. One of my best friends that's gone from me, he did a lot of drugs, man, but he was, like I was telling anybody, when he wasn't on them drugs, he was the most intelligent, most talented, should have been in the NFL, should have been in the NFA. I'm talking about my boy Ricky Porter Jr. that died I ain't gonna say not too long ago, because it's been a minute now, but he was very, 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 very talented. A lot of people thought he was just, man, he crazy. Nah, them drugs is what make you crazy. Now, I don't know, that's why I'm saying about Antonio Brown's background. I don't know if he done drugs. And see, a lot of people think these doing drugs don't mess with them, and it does. And I'm not saying everybody that's what they call bipolar, schizophrenia have been stuck on drugs, because you got little kids that's teenagers and stuff that's coming up, that they diagnosed with schizophrenia or bipolar. And like I said in other videos, some of these parents make their kids play crazy just to get a check. So when I talk about this kind of stuff, I'm going to rightly divide it. Some make their kids be crazy just to get a check and try to get all they can out of the government. And then there's some that's really going through. I'm getting tons and tons of emails about bipolar and schizophrenia. That's a very touchy subject. And a lot of people say, well, I don't know, man. I don't think you should speak on them type of topics. The main things you need to speak on is what people are dealing with. And when I speak on these subjects, people get mad at the topic and not even listening. I'm not talking about everybody. That's why I have so much compassion, so much love, so much patience. I got bipolar people on my page, but I don't call them that. I don't call you schizophrenia. Because when you put the Holy Spirit in there, oh man, ain't nothing too hard for the Holy Spirit. I keep telling people this all the time. What we got to quit doing is speaking this the way they say my child had this. Well, what do y'all say your child have? What do you think your child have? What's going on in the house? What's going on with the upbringing? What's going on with the spending time? Is it a broken home? So you got to start getting to the root of the problem. Here's the biggest thing in this life. People focus on the problem and not the solution. All day long, we want to talk about the problem. Well, this is the problem. This is the problem. Well, what is the solution? Stop focusing on the problem and get to the solution. Well, JT, that's easier said than done. Is it really? I was just responding back to an email telling this good brother of mine, man, I know you. Yeah, you may not add and subtract like other folks, and that bothered you growing up. But let me tell you something. I'm going to teach Holy Spirit. What other people is weak at, I guarantee you, they are strong in an area that's stronger than where you at. I hated math in school. I was a senior in class with freshmen trying to pass my math on the TOS test. In there, trying the best I could. I have a system that I use that works for me. And once you learn, like I tell my nephew Jordan, once you learn what works for you, can't nobody take that away from you. You got to figure out your strong points. You got to figure out what works for you. I mess with my wife all the time because she's very good. She can add up stuff in her head just like that. My big brother can too. My Uncle T can too. My twin brother can too. But I cannot add math like that in my mind. They don't even need pen and paper. Me, I need the pen and paper. Me, I'm going to take a little longer. But everything I do in this life, I learn how to use my strategy to go with it. It may not work for you, but it works for me. What you have might not work for me. So we got to understand that, and I'm trying to help somebody in this video because this is very dear to my heart. It was some of the people I went to school with, they put them in special ed. And it's just something wrong with his mind. And this and this and that and that. They ate ADHD and this and that. Man, but when you spend time with folk, and I ain't even gonna go into detail about that because I've done a video about that already. But when you spend time with certain people and don't talk down on them and be patient with them and help them, show them in a way where they can understand it. I'm gonna tell you something. The hardest thing for me was to understand. I'm gonna leave this video alone. When I was in school, like I said, math gave me a hard problem. It gave me a hard time. Let me say it like that. I had to picture in my mind certain things. Reading a tape measure, a ruler, was the hardest thing for me at first. I just couldn't get it together. All the numbers in between, it wore me out. It took me a long time to get it until my twin brother, he put it to me in a way that I never seen before. And he said, bro, let me tell you something. The tape measure is just like that piano. See, the piano I was hands-on with. You couldn't key A, C, D, B, E, F, G, all 13 keys. In between he said, bro, look at that tape measure like you look at that piano that you know so good. I'm like, what you mean? He said the piano got all them keys. Whether you playing a 61, 76, 88, it's the same keys, just like a tape measure, just different numbers. And he said, all you gotta do is learn in between, just like you learn on that keyboard. And once he showed me that, this is your 13/16. This is your 15/16. This is your quarter. This is your half. This is your 3/4. From that day on, I got a job. Regal Plastics. First thing I had to do when I go in there was to read the tape measure. My brother gave me a way to look at that tape measure just like the piano. And to this day, I learned it and never looked back. Tape measure now is one of my favorite things. I love to measure stuff. When he made me look at the tape measure like the piano, because just think about a piano or organ, the keys really don't change. You see all your white notes and all your black notes, all your sharps and your flat, they don't never change. It may just be more than some, but after a while, they're gonna repeat, just like a tape measure. The number might just say 12 on the tape measure, then you got 13, 14, but long as you know what's in between, it's just like the number system. Whether it's a 1-4-5 in the key of C, or 1-4-5 in the key of E flat, you're gonna know where it is. So that's why I was so able. Sometimes people just have to be patient with us. And there are certain people in this life that know how to make you visualize something, look at it different than what somebody else did. See, and my problem in school was my teachers didn't have no patience with me. And that's why I struggled so much. So I say the same thing about a lot of people, man. They strong, where they weak at, they strong somewhere else. And all you gotta do is just figure out your system that's gonna work for you. And that's what worked for me. So with that being said, I don't know why I went off and all that, but with that being said, y'all have a wonderful, wonderful, blessed day. Shalom.